Mexico will start with the basketball. It's David Gibson. He gives off to Kenny Thomas, and this is Greg Schornstein.
Well, you see Utah will play mostly man-to-man. You might see them change up their defense a little bit tonight, but mostly they'll be going man-to-man.
Gibson rarely shoots from the perimeter. Keith Van Horn pulls down the rebound. Here's Jesse in transition. They go to Doliak. Michael Doliak down low, a physical player.
Nice reset by Doliak, showing his body, getting another look by Van Horn. Oh, way to stay with it.
And a little putback for Doliak, a 6'11" sophomore who played only 1 year of high school basketball. Looks a little like Joe Klein with those big arms. Inside, Kenny Thomas, his first touch. It stays home, 2-2.
I don't know. Drew, I played with Joe Klein. If he looked like Joe Klein, he would have missed that layup.
I'm telling. Van Horn turnaround, right on the money. Keith Van Horn, what do you think?
I think Van Horn's a tremendous player. He loves the baseline. I asked him before the game, what is it that he liked to do most? He says, Reggie, I don't know. I just love the whole aspect of basketball. Running, gunning, shooting, everything.
Spider from three-point range will get it back. Clayton Shields, 22. You have to defend him out to about 25 feet. He can stroke it. Here's Thomas, double team, slapped out of bounds by Andre Miller, helping out. 18:25 to go, first half, 4-2. Utah leading New Mexico. Kenny Thomas looking in at him. Got a little baby fat right now, but that's okay.
Well, he's got a lot of baby fat, matter of fact, but he still moves well, and that shows you what type of athlete he is. In another couple of years, a junior or senior, maybe first year in the pros, he'll gain that body strength.
Gibson gets his man up in the air, no good. Thomas the rebound. On the reverse side, no good. Slapped out of bounds. It'll be Utah basketball. Well, these two teams met just a week ago on Saturday in no contest. Utah blew out New Mexico at the pit. Nobody does that. The only team to shoot 50% against the Lobos this year. In fact, over the last 29 games, they've relinquished only 2 performances better than 50%, and Utah owns them both.
Well, one of the interesting parts of that game was the way they played Kenny Thomas. As you see, Van Horn bust that from outside the three-pointer, but the way they played Kenny Thomas down low, they sent 4 different people at him at different times of the game. It really frustrated him, got him out of his game.
Here's Shields, who played the big forward last year. He turns it over on the walk.
Well, right now, early in this game, I like the way Utah is doubling back every time New Mexico goes into the low post. Miller is coming back with a lot of hands trying to scrape that ball out.
Ben Caton with the basketball, his first touch. They feed Doliak. Back to Miller, Doliak, and he walked. So Utah hands it right back to New Mexico. Both of these teams, generally speaking, do a pretty good job taking care of the basketball. Dave Bliss's club, the last 3 games, have averaged just 11 turnovers a night. 7-2 Utah. David Gibson's a blur with the basketball. He ran a 10.500 meters in high school. Charles Smith up in the air. That's an offensive foul.
Just a little over penetration there. Charles Smith is very good shooting off of the dribble, but right here he should have pulled up right there and shot the ball, but one more step too far into the lane caused him the offensive foul. Players in college, I always say, they don't learn the in-between game, and that's an aspect of the game that's so important to basketball players.
Both of these clubs 17-3 on the year. New Mexico was among the top 25 last month. They dropped out. They're right on the fringe right now, and a whistle down low. I think this is going to go against Greg Schornstein.
Schornstein trying to muscle Van Horn out of the post area. He knows he likes that turnaround jumper, but just a little bit too much body. Nice recognition, Van Horn, but look, can't use that offhand to hold too much.
Ben Caton thought about it. Caton can fire from deep. To Doliak, jump stop, pretty move. The big fella. He's got 4, and it's a 9-2 Utah lead. This is basically what happened at the pit in Albuquerque. Utah Ended up leading by 15 in the first half, and according to Dave Bliss, they won the basketball game, Reggie, in the first 10 minutes. Open floor, Brandon Jesse tucks it away. 9-point Ute lead.
This is definitely not the type of basketball Coach Bliss wanted from his squad. He thought they'd be ready. The last time he said he felt that they just fell asleep in the beginning of the game, and that's exactly what's happened right now.
They play a stifling defense. Shot clock at 9. Schornstein from deep. Big hoop. It's a 3, and that quiets the crowd.
Schornstein is one of the guys that Majerus is really worried about from the perimeter. He thinks he's one of their biggest threats from out there.
Van Horn, his second 3 attempt on the mark. Keith Van Horn has yet to miss. He's got 8.
I tell you what do you do with a guy like that? He shoots a turnaround baseline jumper. He steps out, shoots the 3. Now he shoots a little curl-in jump shot. That's tough. That's very nice basketball.
And he's just a junior. We were talking to him earlier today. He said, "Are you really 6'9"? He said, "Actually, I'm closer to 6'10". Pull-up jumper by Charles Smith. They call him Spider. He knocks it down.
It's so important for New Mexico if Charles Smith can get on track. He is a sporadic jump shot shooter, but definitely can take it off the dribble.
Off the glass, a little bit short. There's Doliak, and he walked when he came down with the basketball. Timeout on the floor. 14:55 to go first half. The Utes off early.
Big reasons why Utah's up right now is their defense. Look at Doliak on Kenny Thompson, look, facing him up one way, changes arms. That was important. You see, he went from one arm to the other, keeping that lead arm in front of him. It's frustrating for Kenny Thomas, and definitely going to cause him some problems. That's what they did to him last time. And right here, Van Horn, token defense by Schornstein, and that's what you get, a facial. You don't play defense on that guy.
He started the year about 240 pounds, talking about Keith Van Horn. He's down just under 230 these days, but he came to Utah at about 195, so he has worked very hard in the weight room. 14-7 the score. New Mexico with the basketball. Drew Goodman and Reggie Theus from the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Shields kicks it to Schornstein. Same spot as a moment ago, different result. Andre Miller pulls it down, and he's stripped down low. It comes to Caton. Van Horn in traffic. He's showing the whole arsenal.
I'm telling you, he's brought his bag of tricks tonight.
He's in double figures already with 10.
And not the same shot on any of them.
No. Showed the mid-range jumper, little jump hook, 2 from three-point range.
I really like the way Utah fronts up and plays their post defense.
Loose basketball to Jesse. New Mexico gets just 1 shot, and that is all. They had just 3 offensive rebounds in the first half last week at the Pit against Utah. Here's Ben Melmoth in the game for the first time. Thought he drew contact. Jesse, the putback. Count the basket.
Watch Van Horn working down low, using his big body and stepping in, crab dribble with the soft jump hook. Offensive rebounds are always important, and there's Brandon Jesse, all over that one. Keeping his eye on the basket, taking the punch, and then a chance for a three-point play. Nice.
And New Mexico is very, very thin. Greg Schornstein has picked up 2 fouls. Royce Alney comes into the basketball game for Charles Smith. Jesse completes the three-point play. He's got 5 in the basketball game. And it's 19-7. Big lead of the basketball game, 12 for Utah.
Right now, the story of the game is Utah's defense, how they have pushed New Mexico completely out of their offense. They're not getting any shots that they want. They're taking what the defense is giving them, and that's a bad sign. Utah switching up, going into a zone defense, which is almost like a triangle and two, maybe even a matchup zone, but they switched up right now. Try to pick up exactly what they're doing. Because it's important for you people at home to understand when a coach switches defense, there's reasons why. He doesn't want New Mexico to get into any type of rhythm. So he's going to change up the defense right now to keep them off balance.
Well, the foul was on Ben Melmoth. Rick Majerus told us earlier he might run a little triangle and two and try to choke off this man, Charles Smith, and also Clayton Shields. So far, it's worked. Everything he's done has worked. There's a turnover ripped away by Drew Hansen, who plays a good D. Van Horn jump stop, swatted by Thomas, who's among the league leaders in blocks. Miller goes out, and Terry Preston comes in.
Very nice block. Just, you know, he got himself in a bad position, and Kenny made him pay for it. One thing also defensively for New Mexico, they're allowing Utah's postmen to post up wherever they want. They got to get these guys off the block some.
Hansen finds Preston, sort of. Shot clock down to 7. Van Horn will try to create on his own. Swatted away, but the foul on Marty Cotright.
Van Horn showing you all types of movement at 6'10". He's using his right and his left. Look at the crossover dribble by a guy 6'10", and the spin back looked like me. Oh!
And he's a little bigger than you were.
I'm gonna tell you something. Magic Johnson would be proud of that move.
NBA scouts, I was talking to one the other day. He said when this guy decides to come out, he probably will be a lottery pick.
Well, I tell you what, when you look at that body and you look at the ball movement, his ability to pass the ball and go to the bucket, I'm thinking Tony Kukoc. I don't know why. You know, 6'10", guy that can handle it on the perimeter, go to the hole, pass, shoot right and left-handed.
Maybe more physical than Tony Kukoc.
Oh, no question. No question.
82% from the line. 2 pretty strokes there for Van Horn, who has a dozen. It's a 21-7 game. They're 2 touchdowns up on New Mexico, and Van Horn will take a brief respite on the bench. Utah very deep. New Mexico is not. They really only have 9 healthy bodies. Kavasi Franklin, a backup guard, broke his foot last week. Pull up by Shields. That's something he can do.
Oh, that's a big shot for him. He needs to get off in this first half. They've got to find somebody that can score consistently.
Nearly taken away by Charles Smith, and there's the illustration of why they call him Spider. He's got long arms, got like those 39-inch extra long sleeves.
He's one of those guys that pulls his socks up without bending over.
Something I never had to worry about. Back outside the Hansen. 21-9 our score. Mark Rydalch, one of the best 6th men in the WAC. Lob to Doliak, good catch, and makes the layup.
Very nice recognition by Melmoth. Doliak knew that's where he wanted it. They set that play up. He was pointing and got exactly what he was looking for. Nice play. They also were working on that play today in shoot-around.
Shields for 3, short. And again, Doliak cleans the glass. New Mexico gets 1 look, Reggie, that's all. Rydalch to Doliak. And you made the point earlier, Utah is getting the shots they want to get.
Oh, absolutely. See right here defensively, Thompson just let him receive the ball exactly where he wants, and Doliak's been busting down there. He's going to have to get him away from that block.
Knocked away from Shields, out of bounds. It will remain New Mexico basketball. Pretty good hustle there by Drew Hansen. We have a timeout on the floor. 11:15 to go first half. Utah 23. Cooking from outside. They lead 23-9. And a reminder later on, the NHL Fire on Ice. Wayne Gretzky and the LA Kings will be at the Olympic Saddledome to take on Theo Fleury and the Calgary Flames. That's coming up next from the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary, Alberta.
Talk about body positioning. Look how George uses his body to shield off the defender, and the nice recognition from the top of the key. Those are things that are taught by the coach. These are set plays, and they were working on that earlier today in shoot-around, and that's exactly what Coach Mazuris was telling him. As soon as the defense works around, use your body to shield him off.
Well, the New Mexico Lobos at 36%. That's what everybody shoots this year against Utah. That's ridiculous. They're holding teams to 1 out of 3, basically. basically.
Well, it's pretty obvious why. Post defense is important. Then they got the pressure outside, and then plays like that, guys are playing the lane. And look at the recognition up court.
Van Horn makes the dunk. You won't see that frequently.
Oh, that hurts.
Schornstein will shoot the three. Air ball, and right now New Mexico is really out of sorts. Van Horn, fall away, and Alney gathers it in and gives to Kenny Thomas. Baseball pass to Schornstein, touchdown. Schornstein now with 5, and the Lobos within 12. The assist for the big man, Kenny Thomas. Every time I watch Doliak post up, Reggie, I think what you said. I mean, he is about 2 feet from the hoop posting up. All he has to do is catch it and turn around.
Very simple. Defense has been the key to the game tonight. Look at the play in the lanes and watching up the court. But something happens here, and sometimes when you pull the rim down a little bit too much, you get one of those.
Rick Majerus, there's the graphic we were talking about. His team leads the nation in field goal defense, 36.6%. And you know what else they do? They shoot their free throws.
He says that's one of the best things they do. Matter of fact, he was joking. He says, how can I yell at the guy about working on his free throw shooting when he's already shooting 80%?
They shoot 80% as a team. That'll win you a lot of close games.
Oh, man.
10 minutes even to go in the first half. It's been owned by the home club, the Utah Utes. Jesse gives off to Van Horn. Miller to Melmoth. Jesse loses it. Charles Smith comes up with it. Gibson has Alney. Kenny Thomas got tripped. He's okay. He's back up. Charles Smith misses, and Ben Melmoth from Australia pulls it down.
Very nice look.
Terrific look. Inside to Ben Caton, the junior from Alamosa, Colorado. His first bucket. Everybody getting in on the act.
Miller making a nice look, faking him on the outside, giving it to him under the basket. They learned that in Verdun Day. Alney. He's struggling from deep. He missed 18 in a row from three-point range after being among the nation's leaders the first half of the season. Miller's pull-up no good. Smith the rebound. When you watch the game, watch how many jump shots New Mexico is taking opposed to what Utah has to take. It is really lopsided. No inside play by New Mexico right now. And that mainly is because Utah's defense is not letting them in there. Look at this. And it's primarily a man-to-man defense. Alney misses again. First offensive rebound I can remember. Greg Schornstein, and he missed the layup. Oh, yes. Give and go. Keith Van Horn, he didn't miss that one. Oh, very nice. What makes that play work so well is Van Horn getting off the ball early and Clayton seeing it, giving it back, and rewarding the big fella. Very nice. 20-second timeout for Dave Bliss in New Mexico. Andre Miller on the previous possession. You talk about a point guard seeing the floor. Look at his eyes. You see that? You're still coming right into your living room, right down the pipe for the layup. And then the next possession, as you suggest, a big guy who can dribble the ball. Well, that's the guy who got the rebound. Bring it down on the dribble and keep filling the lane. Big fella. Ooh. Everybody's excited about the return of Magic Johnson. You saw him last week, nearly a triple-double in his first game back against Golden State. He might be playing power forward, but I noticed when he pulled down the rebound, Reg, he wasn't passing the ball out. Well, that's part of his job. That's what he's going to bring to the Lakers. The point power forward. How you like that one? 27-11. Utah by 16 over New Mexico. They've won 5 straight against the Lobos. In fact, the Lobos have not won here since the 88-89 season. Shields from the free throw line.
and every jump shot is contested.
Every jump shot's contested, but they have to stop relying so heavily on it. They got to give themselves a chance. They got to go to the hole sometime.
Caton cut off. A blocking foul on Royce Olney.
Well, take a note only. You know, the guy goes to the hole, he's going to the free throw line. On the other end, you guys are shooting nothing but jump shots. No free throws, no second chance shots. End up down by more than a dozen.
Caton makes the free throw.
Caton at 89% from that stripe there. You can just about forget it.
Seen what he's done this year. Terrific three-point shooter. The foul count really favoring Utah. Just one team foul on Utah. 7 already on New Mexico. They're in the penalty, and they're 18 down.
Thomas trying his best to get the ball, but Utah's defense has been the key to tonight's game. Now look at the white shirts behind him. Look at Miller standing there, and it's very difficult for the big fella to get the ball, and he wants it badly, and they can't find him. He's very frustrated, and that's exactly what happened to him the last time these two teams met.
There's Rick Majerus. He did something today in his practice before the game that you've never seen before with his players.
Yeah, talking about control. He had his guys in shoot-around with the bench under the basket lined up, so they were definitely paying attention. There was going to be no walking around, no wandering, getting water or anything. Everybody was right there, paying attention and in tune.
Classroom right on the court. 18-point lead. New Mexico has the basketball. They have just one bucket in the paint. That was a hoop early by Kenny Thomas, his only hoop. Gibson pulls up. Thomas got a hand on it, that's all. Olney picks up number 2, and Andre Miller will continue that walk right to the line, and Mr. Thomas is frustrated.
3 fouls on Olney. 18 fouls.
You know, what you're in danger of right here, if you're Kenny Thomas, is that big guys notoriously will stop playing if you don't get him the ball every now and then. And that's not a knock on him. I'm talking about power forwards in general. They will tell you, hey, if you don't give me the ball next time down, I'm not kicking it out on the outlet for you next time either.
Dave Bliss was telling us he likes to get Kenny Thomas at least 30 touches a game.
Well,
he's had 7, but where have they been so far?
Yeah, he'll be lucky if he gets 15 tonight.
Andre Miller, 1-1, rare miss, and there's Clayton Shields climbing the ladder.
And one of the frustrations that Kenny Thomas has right now is that New Mexico has to take shots that are on the move. They're not getting the good looks at the basket.
Gibson all the way for a layup. And you want to hear an interesting stat. His last 14 baskets over 4 games, all on drives. He has not hit a perimeter shot.
Well, keep driving.
And he's fast. He can do that. 7 minutes to go. It is 29-13 Utah.
Utah's got a nice little motion going right now. Little twirls off of the weak side, spinning into the lane, taking their time, being smart about it.
Van Horn, good look, and another layup.
And that's what happens when you're patient. You saw they reversed the ball 2 or 3 times. Then you have penetration and the kick inside. Very nice play.
Doliak right at his average. He's got 8 points. And a whistle inside, a hold. This is going to be on Mark Rydles, who is trying to front Clayton Shields. Well, coming up a week from Monday on the 12th. Mark it down. 8 Eastern, 5 on the West Coast. The 4th annual ESPY Awards. Our host this year, Tony Danza. Award for the male and female athlete of the year, comeback athlete of the year, the Arthur Ashe Award for courage. All of that from the ESPYs a week from Monday on ESPN. Pass to Schornstein. Difficult layup. He makes it happen. He'll go to the line.
Schornstein's a worker, man. And what I like about him is he shoots the ball from the outside, and he's strong when he's inside the perimeter, when he's in that paint. Nice spin down to the baseline, and look at his concentration. Never took his eye off the rim. He's got a chance for a three-pointer.
Only the 13th foul on Utah, and the first on Michael Doliak. Schornstein has 7 points. He's the only player for New Mexico with more than 2. 31-15. With Reggie Theus, I'm Drew Goodman. Happy you're along at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City on the Deuce. Doliak trying to show his perimeter game. And he nearly tracked that down. What did Rick Majerus say about his work ethic today?
This is some of the best he's ever seen. The fact that he doesn't have a whole lot of talent. He's another guy that has bulked up, you know, from the weight situation, and really is a joy for him to coach.
Charles Smith on the outside. Stops, gives to Shields for three.
One of the things New Mexico has to do right now to try to climb back in this game, so they have some type of thing going into the second half. Oh,
They're gonna call that on Ben Melman. And Moose Stubing, who is one of the larger officials you'll see, stepped in between Thomas and Melmoth. Look again.
Well, Melmoth's trying to get a little body contact, a lot there, and that wasn't that much contact to warrant a foul, but the referee has to gain control because he doesn't want anything to happen out here unnecessarily. What I was saying, and what New Mexico needs to do right now is they need to slow their game down. I think they're rushing their shots. They got to try to get inside, and they need to try to take the ball to the hole. If I was them, I probably would put on a little token full court press, maybe even to slow the pace down for them even more so.
Gibson might have walked. That's what the crowd wanted. Charles Smith from the perimeter, tipped in by Kenny Thomas. That's about the only time he gets his hands on the ball on an offensive rebound.
Well, he's very good in the offensive rebounding area. If that's what he's got to do, that's what he's got to do. But they still another long jump shot by New Mexico.
5:15 to go. New Mexico within 14. Jesse curls, Jesse hits.
Now that's a nice shot by Jesse, but what made that shot work was a pick down by the big guy, and that's what I liked about it. Came off wide open.
They execute, don't they?
Oh, tremendously. And there again is why Rick is one of the best coaches in the
reverse
game
layup.
today.
Kenny Thomas missed it. Morados with a step, lost it behind his back. 3-on-1, numbers right for New Mexico. Gibson to Schornstein, and Morados will make him earn it from the line.
You know, even though that play right there turns into a foul, I thought the spacing was bad. Watch, it's just not enough spacing. Get off the ball a little bit early and give the guys a little bit more room to operate.
Dave Bliss pacing away. He said before the game last weekend at his place in Albuquerque, he said Utah is a phenomenal basketball team. And after the game he said, well, I was right in my assessment. They lost by 18 at home, as we talked about. Schornstein now has missed 2. I saw him earlier this year up in Fort Collins against a very good Colorado State team. He had 22 points and iced the game with 2 free throws in a 2-point win on the road for New Mexico. Kenny Thomas on the bench. 4.5 to go. 33-18. Van Horn to Jesse. He'll elevate from 3. Only pulls it down. Their transition defense is pretty fine, too.
Oh, they find their man. They know exactly what they want defensively. And look at that hustle by Jesse.
There's a steal by Jesse. He gives to Van Horn.
Oh, nice.
What a shake. Van Horn didn't finish. Jesse had his hands on it. Marty Cotright rips it away.
There's a 6'10 rocker step by Van Horn. Oh.
Did you have that? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
You had that?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I had it all, baby.
3:35 to go first half. Cotright shakes. He shook a little too much. We have another timeout on the floor. Utah by 15. At time, there's been much speculation on whether or not Keith Van Horn will come out early for the NBA. His biggest influence may be his head coach.
Keith and I, our conversation relative to anything that transpires with him turning pro is 2 months down the road, and I think Keith has explicit trust in me, and I'm going to make the best decision in conjunction with Keith, but I will probably have the overriding vote in that, and I'm going to do whatever is best for him at the time.
Yeah, right. Jerry Tarkanian thought he had the overriding vote on me also until it came time for me to go.
You didn't listen to Tark the Shark?
Are you kidding me? Not when they flash that money in front of you. It's tough to stay in school.
How about your head coach, your former head coach? He's doing a job at Fresno State. Fresno, the only team to come in here, and it seems like the last decade and win, and they won at the buzzer. Dominic Young hit a wild three-pointer to beat him. Doliak was grabbed underneath, and that foul by Kenny Thomas, perhaps more out of frustration than anything.
Well, New Mexico came out of that timeout to try to stop any type of play Rick Majerus was going to try to run at that particular point. They put up a zone to throw him off. But if you're going to play a zone, one of the big things in a zone is that you have body position for rebounds. There's no way an offensive player is supposed to come from the top of the key and finish off an offensive rebound like that.
Well, I know you like Michael Doliak a lot, a guy who's a self-made player. He's 6'11", 260. Big men can't shoot free throws, right? Wrong. 86%. He's second in the WAC from the line.
And has won their three-point shooting contest in preseason 2 years in a row.
That'll tell you a little something. 35-18. 17-point lead for Utah. Schornstein drives, cut off. Thomas puts it on the floor. Spacing not good.
Well, a lot of indecision offensively for New Mexico. And really, almost every time they're driving baseline, I'm not understanding why they're being forced baseline. If I'm an offensive player, I don't let the defense dictate to me where I'm going to play every time down court. Very seldom have we seen any drives to the middle of the floor where you have better options to pass the basketball.
Well, coming up at halftime on the Deuce, highlights from UConn and the Johnnies, the Kings and the Pistons matchup, and we'll check all the scores from around the National Hockey League. Stuart Scott will be running the show for you. Keith Van Horn makes good on the first. There's an offensive foul on Charles Smith. Van Horn with 15, now 16 here in the first half. He averages a shade over 20 and 9 boards. 19-point lead, biggest bulge of the night thus far for the Utes. Gibson to Smith, and he drains the three. Charles Smith, his 40th triple of the year.
That's a very nice drive and kick by Gibson to Smith in the corner. If he can get it going, they have something happening out there for New Mexico. But boy, I tell you, too many jump shots.
But they can't get any stops on this end either. Here's an open look again for Van Horn, and he gets the friendly roll. Keith Van Horn, give him 19, his third triple of the game. Shields pulls up. He knocks it down, but Reggie, as you said a moment ago, everything's a jump shot.
Everything's a jump shot, and you hit it right on the head, Drew. You said they're not making any efforts down here in the defensive end, and this is what's really killing them. Because on the post-up, look where he's posting up. He's got one step into the lane, even though he traveled. I'll take that all day long because 9 out of 10 times he's going to get off a good shot down there. You're going to have to root him out of that spot, make him shoot the ball where he doesn't want to.
A rare turnover for Rick Majerus' club. How good have they been? 2 nights ago, they beat UTEP by 15 here, and they got a tongue lashing from Majerus. He didn't like how they played.
Oh, he just doesn't want to get him. He just doesn't want them to get complacent.
Shields against Rydell. Gibson an open look, but again, Utah will give him that. Thomas the rebound. Thomas makes the bucket. He is so strong.
Nice body control. Grab that rebound, plant his feet, and spring right back up. Nice drive by Gibson. Almost another one, but look, grab it, back down and up immediately. Nice play. A lot of strength on that big fella. You were talking about Majerus giving their team a tongue lashing. I was talking to Jess before the game. He said there was one thing that they wanted to do tonight is not take New Mexico lightly because they're an athletic team and they could come in here and get hot and they'd be very difficult to beat.
Andre Miller with the basketball. 1:05 to go in the first half. Again, Doliak in deep. Great hustle by Miller. He crashes into a little kid and the wall, and I hope that little fella's okay.
Oh, yeah, he's tough.
He's going to be all right. He's going to visit with, I think, his big brother, and he's going to get some popcorn. He'll be just fine. Brandon Jesse works his way up the floor. It was actually Jesse, not, or was it Miller?
No, it was Jesse.
It was Jesse diving on the floor. His dad's here. His dad makes it in from Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
It's about every game. 45 seconds left. Well, if you're New Mexico, Reggie, what's the magic number? I mean, if you can get it to 12, you feel decent about the first half based on what's happened?
Well, I don't think they should be worrying so much about where they get it. They just have to come out and play their basketball game.
Taken back by Chapman. Doliak stepped. No, he didn't step out of bounds. Smart move by Doliak. He's a great student. He got himself in the air before he went out of bounds. He called a 20-second timeout. You see that a lot in the NBA.
Well, that's a smart play because they hadn't used their 20-second timeouts. And a lot of hustle right here. Players all over the floor. Utah fans wanted a foul, but here, the fun never stops. That could have been a traveling, but watch this. Smart play. Timeout, 20-second timeout, right.
Field goal percentages thus far. Utah at 52%. And when you hold opponents in the mid-30s, you're going to win most of your basketball games.
Well, you were talking about what New Mexico would like to have at this point going into the halftime. Just a couple of nice exchanges before the half. Have a little bit of momentum because the score is almost out of hand right now. But if they could get some momentum in the second half, anything can happen.
They have to get some better looks, obviously.
Better looks. They have to take care of the ball a little bit better. And right here, they're going into a little bit of semi-trap, again, to throw off whatever Majerus called in that 20-second timeout.
Shot clock's off. 10 seconds left. Kate with an early three, followed up by our man, Michael Doliak.
You got to put a body on somebody. You cannot allow a man to do that.
For three, no good. Utah owns the first 20 minutes. They've won 8 in a row. They're looking for 9 straight. 42-25, they lead Lake City, Utah. The home folks very pleased. 42-25. Utah up 17. Back with Reggie Theus. I'm Drew Goodman, and the question is, can New Mexico get back in this, and how do they get back in this?
Well, it's a tough situation. They're going to have to stop them on the other end, and they're going to have to get Kenny Thompson more touches down on the other side.
They were smothering him in the first half.
Kenny Thomas is trying desperately to get the ball, but look at the defense. Look at Miller down, everybody fronting. There's no place for him to receive the basketball, and the frustration is really showing all over his face.
And we were also able to see the transition offense of Utah.
That transition offense off of the miss. Van Horn is the guy with the ball. Look at the recognition up the court. The loafing by New Mexico results in a nice TV time dunk for Van Horn.
The halftime numbers, New Mexico held at 36%. Utah was above 50%. They go to the line. They hit their free throws. We talked about that. And they're +5 on the glass, Reggie. They do that every ball game. They out-rebound everybody they play.
Well, one of the reasons is offensively, they're a very good offensive rebounding team because they know where the shots are coming from. They're very patient, and everyone on the floor can see that their balance is very nice.
Utah starts with it with a 17-point lead. Andre Miller will pull up. The shot no good. Clayton Shields with the rebound. David Gibson, the point guard, looking for an opening. To Schornstein. Shields is posting up. Now he goes away. Charles Smith, who has the ability to score off the dribble. Free man's Gibson. They'll usually give him that shot. They do again, and he does not hurt them from the perimeter.
New Mexico's dropped back into the man-to-man defense.
Jesse made a good move and then put it up off the wrong side of the glass as if he lost where he was.
Yeah, he didn't know where he was on the floor. That's funny.
Shields will shoot a three. Over the top of the glass, no good. And the first two possessions, more of what we saw from Dave Bliss's club in the first 20 minutes. They got nothing but 20-foot J's.
I'm sure that Dave Bliss went in there and talked to them at halftime about better shot selection and getting the ball to Kenny Thomas on the block a few more times.
Van Horn steps outside. That barely drew iron. He's hit several threes in the game. Shields to Smith for three. He got it.
Very nice recognition. One of the few times Utah was not very good in their transition defense. New Mexico capitalizing on their mistake.
And the crowd getting restless. They're only up 14.
But they're used to seeing perfection by this club.
And Rick Majerus doesn't settle for much else. They had a team 4 years ago that went 30-4 here at Utah, Sweet 16 team. Van Horn will try another three. Jesse an offensive rebound, and he's fouled inside. At 6'4", Jesse is kind of a tweener for a small forward. He has more offensive rebounds this year than he does defensive rebounds.
But look at the body position. He's got his arm and the spring very nice, and splitting the defense. Nothing you can do but foul in that situation. Actually, it turns out I would say Shorenstein was a good foul because he had a layup. And if I'm a player, if I'm the coach, I want my guys to make him shoot from the free throw line.
Jesse last year, first team all-WAC player. Co-MVP with Keith Van Horn of the team. He's an 83% free throw shooter. 8 in the game tonight. He was the Junior College Player of the Year 2 seasons ago at Ventura, JC. Shorenstein pulls it down. Smith running the floor, nice hesitation, the pull-up, well done.
It's a very nice shot. Really hesitation on the crossover and the pull-up. He's very good at that shot. Just got to do it more often.
Gibson nearly had the rip on Miller. Jesse posting up again. Van Horn goes up top. Caton can shoot it. I told you.
Well, you know, it's a nice shot, but Clayton Shields, where was he? Wasn't even in the picture. You can't get picked that good on the baseline. You got to learn how to fight through him.
He's better than 40% from deep. Is Kate. Nearly had the steal. Here's the outlet. Miller lays it in. Keith Van Horn, give him credit. He pulls it down. He looks up the floor.
Very nice. Never brought the ball down below his chest. Kept it up in the air, turned, and fired it home. That's a nice play.
18-point lead for Utah. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Inside the Shields, good position. Rare defensive lapse by the Utes.
It was a good cut by Clayton Shields and really nice recognition by Gibson. Seeing him, getting the ball to him at the right time.
Smith guarding Caton. The look to Jesse.
Almost the exact play back at you.
Shorenstein open. Gibson penetrates. Shorenstein will shoot from 21. It goes 22. The outlet to Jesse. Van Horn's with him. From 12. Jesse no good.
Tough play. Jesse should have probably thrown that ball toward the basket. Van Horn had Gibson under the rim, and obviously there's a slight height advantage on Van Horn's favor.
And he's also the best leaper for Utah. Not much he can't do. Smith off the dribble, draws contact, throws it up. Van Horn bats it out to Kate. Here's Miller, one-on-one with Gibson.
Nice pull-up. Smart play. That's what I'm talking about, that little in-between game, the pull-up. Use your head. There's no reason to try to make something happen when there's nothing there. Shoot that 6-footer off the glass or straight in the hole.
50-32. Shields backs it out. Miller's right there. Kenny Thomas, first touch, second half, and he's tagged immediately.
Very nice try by Miller. He's been giving him heck all night. Watch him get down there just a little bit too late, but the effort and the mindset was there. That is what's been giving Kenny Thomas problems all night. Every time he tries to get the ball down low, Miller is in his way.
Kenny Thomas, 6 points, but 3 of 5. But you want him to get twice that many shots off in a half, don't you?
Well, it's tough because he's getting a shot here. 3 or 4 minutes later, he gets another shot, you know, gets another look every... You can't. He's a rhythm player. You got to get him the ball 3, 4, 5 times in a row. He's a guy that can take over the game for you. So you got to get him the ball. Coach wants him to get 30 touches. For them to win tonight, he's going to have to get 35 touches.
Timeout on the floor, 15:33 to go, second half. Running Utes by 16 over 50, New Mexico 34 from the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Monday, great college rivalry, the Bean Pot Tournament, 44th annual, Northeastern and Harvard at 6 Eastern, and then right after, BU and BC, the Battle of Beantown. Monday, right here on the Deuce, college hockey comes your way. Boston University national champs last year. 16-point lead with Reggie Theus. I'm Drew Goodman, and for New Mexico, it hasn't changed, 36%. And this is one of the better shooting teams, not only in the WAC, in the country.
Well, Coach had talked about how up and down his team has been all year long with their shooting percentages. One night, they are so tough from the three-point range. The next night, they act like they can't shoot at all. In the first half, they were 2 for 12. Well, somebody ought to tell them, if you're 2 for 12, you got to stop shooting them. You got to go to the hole, do something else, get to the free throw line.
Whistle inside, and Utah is going to get ticketed. No, excuse me, Greg Schornstein gets ticketed, and that's 4 on Schornstein, and there is no depth for the very young Lobo team. Kenny Thomas comes in, Schornstein goes out. Just 9 available. Van Horn goes up top, finger roll over Marty Cartwright.
See, Drew, those type of plays are not supposed to happen because Cartwright should have put a body on Van Horn. You never let a man have a free cut right in front of you and right in front of the basketball.
New Mexico, we mentioned it earlier, lost Kavasi Franklin, a backup guard, broken foot last week against Utah. Thomas upstairs, it wouldn't stay home.
Tough. That young man wanted that badly.
Miller makes his way through.
Nice.
Andre Miller. 6 in the game, all after intermission. 20-point lead for Utah. Dave Bliss will call another timeout. It's a 22nd timeout. And, you know, Utah is stopping New Mexico right now. This is a good New Mexico team. They're 17-3, Reggie.
There's no question. And, again, Miller trying to come for the stab. And look at, he's so frustrated. He throws the ball down a little too hard. That's what you call a little too much thunder.
I had that problem in Nerf hoop. Well, Rick Majerus is doing it again, and if you look at his club, the only guy that plays significant minutes that's a senior is Brandon Jesse, and also Mark Rydal's coming off the bench, the 6th man. Otherwise, his team's pretty young.
Well, they're all both young teams, but I love the way Rick Majerus has his team. Is so disciplined, and they do what they do best, and that's what I like.
31 of the last 32 at the Huntsman Center. The only loss earlier this year, Jerry Tarkanian's Fresno State team at the buzzer. Dominic Young threw up a prayer. It was answered.
Well, you won't see Utah trying to do something they're not very good at. They stick with what they know how to do, and that's get the ball to Van Horn, move the ball around the perimeter, play tough defense, and always organized.
David Gibson, the reach, and Royce Alney buried that jump shot, his first of the game. Team foul situation, 2 on New Mexico, 1 on Utah. So the Utes will inbound on the side. Rick Majerus, he hasn't worn a tie in a decade. Always has a sweater on. And it's got a couple of X's before the L.
That became his trademark. He's found his niche.
One of the most charismatic coaches in college basketball. Well, there was a foul, and Utah fans also want offensive interference. They won't get that. They will get the foul.
Now, Van Horn using his head. Normally, he's been coming out and shooting that 16, 17-footer off of that play. Well, the defense makes a slight adjustment. They step out a little higher. What does he do? The smart thing. He steps out a little fake and then curls tight for the easy one on the inside. Very smart play.
And now Royce Alney joins Greg Schornstein, Reggie, with 4 fouls. Van Horn, perfect tonight from the line. He's got 22, and he's always done his best work against New Mexico over the last 2.5 years.
You look at Van Horn, he's out of Diamond Bar High School, was not very heavily recruited out of high school. I can't imagine why.
Well, a lot of folks missed. Alney gets a good look and converts. There was a whistle inside. The basket, I believe, will count, and then the foul against New Mexico on Kenny Thomas, who is a frustrated 18-year-old right now. I think there's going to be, are there dual fouls?
Well, they have to count. They have to count the basket and then the foul. So Utah does get the ball out of bounds.
So the foul on Kenny Thomas is second.
Clayton Shields working hard down low, trying to keep Van Horn from getting the basketball. What we talked about in the top of the game has not done a very good job of that this far in the game.
Alney cut off there by Rydos. Let me correct that. It's 3 fouls now on Kenny Thomas. 56-39, 17-point lead for Utah. Shields cut off on the baseline, but a little bit late by Keith Van Horn.
You know, we keep talking about New Mexico wanting to shoot jump shots and not getting the ball inside to Kenny Thomas. Now, what Thomas has to do also, Drew, is since they're playing such tough defense on him on the post, he has the ability and the agility to step out a little bit further. You're going to have to step off the block maybe 2 or 3 steps, get the ball, and then work from there. If you're not getting the ball one way, you got to find another way to receive that basketball.
Shields makes good on the first. 7 points for Clayton Shields, who is a top 100 player coming out of Baytown, Texas, a couple of years ago. He's a sophomore. 56-40. Preston to Melmoth. And a foul, offensive foul on Utah. And it's on Brandon Jesse. Actually, it's on Terry Preston. 21, not 41. And that's the first on Terry. Utah's held opponents to just 60 points. And now Alney has bought number 5.
New Mexico,
wow.
30.
I've not seen this many calls away from the ball in a long time. I mean, almost like the referee's kind of looking that direction. Everybody else is looking the other way. He sees a different game sometimes.
Royce Alney fouls out with 12:44 to go in the game. He's the 6th man for Dave Bliss. Gone with 5 points, and now only 8 available, and Schornstein comes back, and he has 4 fouls. It has been a forgettable performance thus far. Smith with the steal. Thomas looks down the floor.
Now you see how Kenny Thomas gets the ball at the top of the key. The defense backs way off, not giving him any respect for his jumper.
Gibson walks in and hits from about 10. He's got 4 points.
Hey, but that was an outside shot that time.
Yes, it was. 14-point lead. Utah's been up by as many as 20. Melmoth looks inside, goes outside to Jesse, who hasn't looked to shoot too much today. And he walked. Jesse wanted the foul. Moose Stubing said no, it's a walk. We'll come back after the turnover. 11:45 to play. Utah by 14. Utah leading by 14 with Reggie Theus. I'm Drew Goodman. And that young lady looks about the age of the young lady who sang the national anthem before the game. She was about 5.
I tell you what, that was seriously cute.
It really was.
I enjoyed that a lot. Even it was even cute when she missed one of the words.
Well, I don't know all the words. You know all the words? I think I know all the words, but
I think if you're singing it, you have a tendency to forget the words.
That's right. Rick Majerus. Well, it's been an off night. He's allowing a team to shoot 40% against it.
Well, they're shooting much better in the second half than they did in the first half.
Shields partially blocked by Doliak, and now the foul called on Doliak. Oh man, Rick Majerus just took a glass of water, fortunately it was a paper cup of water, and spiked it at the other end. And the poor guy on press row at the end is soaking wet.
Well, but Doliak playing pretty good defense, but after the block, you could see that his hand did hit Clayton Shields' hand, but what the Majerus and the crowd is barking about is that it was such a late call. Well after the fact.
And it was on a three-point attempt, so Shields will get 3 free throws. He's got 2 down. And he makes it an 11-point game. So this thing, even though it's been dominated by Utah, is far from over with 11 and a half minutes to go. Shields in double figures with 10. Dave Bliss's club trying to hang around. Andre Miller cut off the foul on David Gibson.
Andre Miller has some serious speed. Gibson himself, a speed demon, but Miller beat him to the punch on the baseline.
Well, Miller was a terrific high school quarterback at Verbum Day in LA.
I played against his high school many, many times in Inglewood High School. Great friends of mine, guys I played with. Roy Hamilton, David Greenwood.
New Mexico over the limit now. Miller with a 1-and-1, doesn't get it. Shields climbs the ladder. And now New Mexico can cut it to 9, perhaps 8. Dave Bliss up on the bench applauding.
Look at the defense on Thomas. Not giving him any respect for that jumper. Nice shot.
Doliak pulls down the weak side board. Andre Miller, the lob. Van Horn catches and puts it down. How about the hands, Reggie?
Keeping control of that basketball was really pretty good. What I didn't like is Gibson was on his way back with Van Horn, and he stops, lets him go, and comes up on the guard. You got to play the guy that's most dangerous, the guy toward the basket.
Bad pass. Armand Doliak there again. Miller a blur. He has it partially blocked, but somebody got him with the body. Utah's responded.
Well, that's a smart play by Miller because he really didn't have a play. He made the defense foul him. Sometimes you go to the hole thinking nothing but contact, and he knows that's why he switched it back to the left hand.
Charles Smith was ticketed, 3 on Smith, and a timeout for Utah. 10:27 to go, second half, 58-45. The Utes leading by 13. This one, it seems Utah has had a double-digit lead. They're up 13. Well, this big Monday on ESPN, Georgetown super sophomore Allen Iverson leads the 9th-ranked Hoyas against do-it-all man Kerry Kittles and 6th-ranked Villanova. It's all part of a triple header, tipped off by Georgetown Nova at 7:30, and a big 8 matchup. Oklahoma State in Oklahoma, followed up by UNLV, Reggie Theus' alma mater, against Long Beach State at midnight. Big Monday on ESPN, presented by Bud Light. Dave Bliss, he was at Oklahoma, won there, won a conference title at SMU as well. In fact, he, along with Eddie Sutton, the only 2 coaches in NCAA history to win a conference title, a postseason conference tournament title, and take a team to the NCAAs with 3 teams. He's done it at New Mexico, Oklahoma, and SMU as well. Andre Miller now 0 for 3 from the line. Rick Majerus might have him in here till midnight shooting free throws.
That's funny. I was just thinking about that. Boy, that's going to cause a tongue lashing after the game.
Schornstein trying to find an opening. Tough.
One of the things that New Mexico is doing better this half is that I think they're patient, a little more patient, trying to take a little bit better opportunity at the basket.
Gibson tried to get it to Thomas. Gets knocked away. It will be New Mexico basketball, but they have just 6 seconds to elevate a shot.
Even though it didn't turn out, it was a very good try by Gibson trying to get Thomas that layup.
They have smothered him defensively. Now Charles Smith realizes he kicks it to Gibson. Short. Schornstein back up. No good. And the rebound of Michael Doliak. He's got to be approaching double figures in rebounds.
Oh, that's got to be a foul, ref.
No call. Andre Miller turns it over.
Ooh. Now that was a tough one. As a player, I hate guys that just reach for the ball and slap you across the waist like that. Throws your body off whack completely.
Utah by 14. Double-double now for Michael Doliak. 12 points, 10 rebounds. Gibson the layup.
Very nice. Nice drive by Gibson, but Kenny Thomas set a sweet pick to get him open.
Boy, you got to get a calf to run around Kenny Thomas. 12-point lead for Utah. Van Horn with the left hand. Didn't go. Jesse the rebound. And there's Kenny Thomas.
Got away with a little bit of a drag on his foot there.
Schornstein, air ball. Thomas goes to the carpet. He gets the takedown and the jump ball on Brandon Jesse.
Watch this Gibson drive, but watch Kenny Thomas step out and stop his man. Look at that. That is a pick, people. You don't get around that.
No, that's a nice read-down block. Ron McBride, the football coach here at Utah, said, hey, you want to transfer and play for us?
Hey, there's no question. He has that kind of body. Got to give it to him.
Thomas, double team, gets in deep and perhaps didn't realize where he was.
Well, Preston stopped him from gathering his feet. Every time he gets the ball, they're sending somebody at him.
Preston. There's Jesse again. Puts it back home. Brandon Jesse at 6'4". What's he doing in there?
He has a nose for the basketball. He knows where he's got to get his points from, and he's not shy about going in there.
10 for Brandon Jesse. 61-47. Gibson, the kick to Shields. He gathers. Terry Preston.
New Mexico getting much better looks at the basket, though, right now. Even though they're not shooting the ball very well, they're still getting some much better looks.
They've actually outscored Utah by 3.5. 8 minutes to go in the basketball game. Jesse off a screen. He draws contact.
At 6'4", Jesse has a nose for the ball. Look at him, and he doesn't take much time to get it back off the ground. You know what it's tough about that is New Mexico really starts to play defense many times too late. Jesse had the ball, took a look at the basket, then put it down before anybody on the defensive end reacted to the ball.
Kenny Thomas, 4 fouls for the 8th consecutive game. He has 8 points. It's been a learning experience tonight for the freshman.
But he's really been foul prone. Almost every game at some point he has to sit down because of that foul situation. Got to have time on the dance floor if you're going to be a player. And I wonder sometime, you know, because maybe he might be a little bit on the heavy side for his body, does that make him, you know, foul a little bit more, use his arms a little bit more instead of use his feet? When he drops a couple of those pounds, maybe gets a little bit stronger, he might use his feet a little bit more.
Dave Bliss was telling us beforehand, he's one of the most coachable young men he's ever had. Dave Bliss has been at this profession for years and years. He's a terrific coach. Said he's got great heart also. Shot clock at 12. There's the steal. Ben Caton made the hustle move, couldn't keep it in bounds. The crowd appreciates it, though. 11 seconds now for New Mexico to get a shot off, trailing by 15.
Well, this is a critical moment for New Mexico. Coltright, who has been playing very good basketball late, got to come in and get something going in that low post position.
Shields cuts, has to throw up a runner, no good. Cartwright stripped down low. Another steal for Utah. Drew Hansen out of the pack. Oh. Preston, the good look. Not there. Clayton Shields finally put a fork in it.
New Mexico getting ready to run the nose play. Blitz over there pointing at his nose. That's a new one for me.
You guys didn't have a nose play at UNLV?
Hey, the nose play. Let's go do it again.
That worked.
It worked very well. Isolating Shields on the low post. No double team.
That's the best look they've had tonight.
You're absolutely right. The best look down there.
Van Horn shoots a three. Charles Smith pulls it down. Van Horn, 6 points here in the second half after a 19-point first half. New Mexico is not out of this. 6:20 to go, trailing by 13. Cartwright from 16 buries it.
Nice lefty from the corner 15-footer.
He's 9 of 12 this year shooting the basketball. 22nd timeout indicated by Rick Majerus. Rick Majerus has an inner ear infection, and 2 weeks ago they went on a road trip to Hawaii and then San Diego State. He couldn't fly, so he couldn't go to Hawaii, though you know he would have driven if there was some sort of bridge. Instead he drove to San Diego. He said the drive was nothing. What took the most time, oh wow, the clock is running, and now it's finally stopped, and I don't know if the officials realize that.
Oh, they'll catch it. They have over 16,000 people in here. We'll tell them what's going on.
Well, they're not going to help out New Mexico, though.
Well, here's that nose play. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The corner, 15-footer by the left-hander, Cartwright. The coach said he's been coming on playing some pretty good basketball for him, and it's important because Kenny Thomas has been getting in foul trouble. Cartwright coming in, doing a good job. What he does differently is that shot right there, where Kenny Thomas can play better on the inside. Cartwright gives him a little more of the perimeter game.
To finish that story about Majerus driving to San Diego, he said the drive was nothing. What took the most time is every time I stopped and had a meal. He's very self-effacing, a very funny man, and he is in much better health these days. He had open heart surgery 6 years ago, and less than 2 years after his open heart surgery, he ran a marathon. And they moved the clock back to 6:02, so 19 seconds had run off the clock. Boy, but that's a home team clock guy.
Oh, yeah. And you're talking about Majerus running that marathon. I asked him why. Who would want to run 26 miles? He said, Reggie, it was for charity. That tells you a lot.
Yeah, he is very, very popular here in Salt Lake City. 62-51. The field goal percentage for New Mexico has picked up somewhat. Utah has dropped off, and that is why New Mexico is still somewhat in this basketball game, down 11.
They're knocking on the door. Utah's defense has still been pretty tenacious in the second half, but New Mexico has been much more patient, and I think Gibson has done a good job of penetrating the defense, getting the ball to the open man, something he didn't do in the first half. Now New Mexico going into a 2-2-1 defense on a zone, and that's to throw off New Mexico, make them start shooting some perimeter shots, so maybe now New Mexico can gain the advantage under the basket.
Rightos, that is a big shot.
It is. Very big shot.
First bucket of the game is 28, three-pointer of the year, and the lead back to 14.
But if you had to make them do something, that's the kind of shot New Mexico wants Utah to have to take.
Schornstein, Gibson will get a three-point look. No good again. He's had far too many shots from the perimeter. He's a nice player, but that's not his game.
Well, hey, he's got to be able to take them. If he doesn't take that shot, it's as bad. He's got to be able to shoot it. If he can't shoot it, got to sit him down.
And it works right to Rick Majerus' strategy. He told us earlier they were going to let David Gibson shoot from the perimeter. Doliak from point-blank range, no good. Out of bounds off of Doliak.
Nice defense by New Mexico, and this is the kind of shot they wanted them to take, but not quite that good.
Well, Kenny Thomas got a brief rest with 4:55 to go. He's back on the floor. Rightos will contest for sixth-man honors again this year.
Going back to the well, the nose play. This time they elect to shoot the jumper.
Rydals to Jesse, quick move. Jesse making it happen on the low block.
You see how Jesse turns and tucks that basketball to shield it away from the defense and then springs and he's wide open. Tough. He's got a strong upper body.
16-point advantage for Utah. Inside 4:20 to go. Lost out of bounds. Clayton Shields stumbled.
Well, that's what happens when your spacing is really bad on the floor. You see that Clayton Shields wanted to pass the ball to Gibson in the corner, but Gibson was standing only 2 or 3 feet away from him. No place to go.
Weak side, Andre Miller with it. Van Horn gets a step. And a foul on the drive. You know what else he does well? He holds the basketball away from everybody.
Well, he keeps the ball in the air, doesn't bring it down where the little guys can swipe it away. On the next level, that would have been a continuation and a bucket. He would have been shooting free throws. Watch on the drive. He faces up. Now watch where he holds the basketball. See how he draws the contact and still keeps the ball high where he has complete control of it. The big fella can go to the hole very well.
Reggie Greg Schornstein has just fouled out. 3:58 to go. He's the second Lobo to foul out. He joins Royce Olney on the bench. 8 points in the first half for Schornstein. And now it's like the 10 Little Indians. The 9 Little Indians are just 7 bodies available for Dave Bliss. Keith Van Horn, 26 points. 8 of 8 tonight from the stripe. 3:58 to go, 18-point advantage for Utah. They're looking for 9 in a row. From the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, 8th largest crowd ever at the Huntsman Center, almost 15,500. Well, New Mexico got it down to 11, and Rick Majerus' team almost like pushing a button, got it together again. The lead's at 18.
Well, New Mexico really never gave up in this ball game and came out in the second half, a little more patience. I thought Gibson's penetration helped a lot. Hit a couple more shots. Shot the ball from the perimeter a little bit better. Still.
And that man's done a nice job in the second half, getting position on the low block. He causes matchup problems because he's so strong. 69-51, David Gibson. Kenny Thomas will show us his outside game. He misses wide right. Van Horn under control, partially blocked. He gets it back and then was fouled. Kenny Thomas got the initial shot. Van Horn got it back and he'll go to the stripe.
And again, like you said earlier, never brought the ball down. Got it back. Nice pass up. Really didn't have a whole lot of places to go. Kenny Thomas, nice block, but look, gets the ball, never brings it back down. I know who did that. He used to do that very well, guy in the pros. You know who he is? Played for Boston.
Kevin McHale.
That's right, Kevin McHale.
Saw him last week up in Minnesota, and he was doing a shooting drill. He can still fire it. He goes out and beats everybody from 3-point range.
Oh, hey, come on. How do you think I win my lunch money nowadays?
You did try to challenge Brandon Jesse before the game. Did he want to party?
Yeah, he was talking like he did, but I think I scared him off.
I don't know about that. 70-51. Gibson from 15 splashes that one through. David Gibson with 8.
Not a great shooter, but I like his courage. He keeps shooting the shot, and he's taking good shots. And as long as they're good shots, you got to keep shooting them.
I'll tell you another story about David Gibson. He was a walk-on, but he was here on a free ride. He had an academic scholarship. He's a terrific student. Well, what do you think?
I say drop step, baby hook. Nice.
Van Horn with 30. 72-53. That's a season high for Keith Van Horn.
And he just owns this Lobo team. And I talked to him before the game. I asked him, why is it that you play so well against this team? He says, because we traditionally are not a running team, but this team opens the game up. And he says, quite frankly, they're weak defensively.
Well, I'm not going to touch that, but Keith Van Horn will get his points against the best of defenses in the nation.
Well, he said what he likes to do is run and get up and down the court, and they're giving him ample opportunity to do that tonight.
72-53. New Mexico will fall to 17-4, and they'll fall 3 games behind in the WAC race, but they could very well be an NCAA team.
No question. I think that there's definitely a shot there.
New Mexico.
Again, a reminder, the Los Angeles Kings, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, at the Olympic Saddle Dome tonight to take on the Calgary Flames. And Theo Fleury, who's the NHL Player of the Month for January. Kenny Thomas has fouled out. Just 8 points for Kenny Thomas, only 2 in the second half.
Well, you can say he had a quiet night, but I'm going to tell you something. The Utah defense put a blanket on him and wouldn't let him move.
Keith Van Horn goes out, and a standing ovation from the crowd here at Huntsman Center. 30 points for Van Horn. He's a very quiet, unassuming guy. He's a very talented guy.
I'll tell you somebody else that had a great night is Doliak. 13 boards, 12 points, very solid.
He's been doing a lot of that lately also. 2:01 to play, timeout on the floor. 74-50 thump in the air about 2 hours ago. 74-53 up 21, and Michael Doliak quietly has had a magnificent game.
Well, he's played extremely well, low post, on the rebounds. And you know what else? He loves golf. You know, every chance he gets after practice, whatever, he goes and he's in the driving range. You know what they tell me? He takes a 3-iron and hits it 250.
Is that right?
That's very right.
But you know, that's a great big arc you're talking about at 6'11".
That's getting some speed, isn't it?
He's a biology major. He wants to be a doctor.
Well, he's also going to get some nasal surgery after the season. I know Majerus was telling me earlier that he really can't wait because he says if there's one problem with him, he feels that he gets a little bit winded, and that's because he's got a nasal problem that will be taken care of after the season.
Daniel Santiago buried the turnaround jumper. 7'1" sophomore. So everybody for Dave Bliss is about 19. .125 left, and looking over at the Utah bench, Rick Majerus may have already gone inside, or at least for a moment. He's been battling the flu and the inner ear infection we mentioned earlier. He has not been that well. In transition, Cotright goes upstairs, and he was fouled. There's the Utah bench. No Rick Majerus right now.
There's Jed Jensen. There's a guy that had a jump shot. He could put it in the hole.
Utah's had a great run of players over the years. Most recently, Josh Grant, who's been in the NBA and played a bunch in Europe. Tom Chambers. Remember Tiki Burden back in the early 70s?
Ticky.
Danny Vrains.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very strong. Danny Vrains I played against over in Europe also. He's still kicking around over there, playing basketball.
Cotright misses the first. Rebound to Chapman. Well, down the road, it's hard to predict what happens in March. This Utah club, I don't know how many people want to match up with them in the NCAA tournament.
It's a tough club to have to play because the one thing you know, they're well coached. They are, and Majerus is back on the court. I guess he's fine. But they're well coached, and you know that they're going to be prepared. And when you have a team that is well coached and prepared and is going to stick to their game plan, they can beat anybody on any given night.
Smith gets the steal. Gibson in transition to Shields from 24. Nothing but the cords.
Well, see, in the second half, New Mexico has done that particular play quite a few times, but only not to hit the jumper. Had they shot the ball a little bit better from the perimeter, could have been definitely a different ball game.
And again, for Dave Bliss's club, very young, thin because they don't have a lot of depth. But at 17-4, they will play in the postseason. You can count on it.
Yeah.
Dave Bliss and Rick Majerus meeting at center court, two good friends. Two of the best coaches going.
I don't think I've ever seen coaches shake hands before. I mean, clock's running down, and there they go.
The final 74-58. Keith Van Horn leads the way with 30 points, and Michael Doliak 12 points and 13 rebounds. So Utah improves to 10-1 in the WAC, 18-3 overall. Dave Bliss's New Mexico Lobos 17-4 and 7-4 in the WAC. That'll do it for our entire ESPN2 crew. I'm Drew Goodman. For my partner Reggie Theus, here's Sports Smash with Stuart Scott.